Welcome. I hope you enjoy the conversation you're about to see between me and another comedian about religion and comedy. These are conversations I'm calling disorganized religion. God bless. And for those atheists out there, may nothing await you after this life.
Hey nerds, welcome to another edition of Disorganized Religion. I'm your host, Seth Lawrence, as always. And this time I am joined by the magnificent, the unique, the wonderful Ai Yoshihara. Ai, thank you so much for joining me this week.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How are things going?
Great. Yeah, I'm doing great.
that was very convincing. Very good. I host a weekly open mic through Flappers, the Zoom edition. I don't know if we're gonna both be brought on as live hosts when Flappers finally opens for real. Do you have any thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, because live ones always have two hosts, so we will both and then one will do tech and one will do talking host, and then halfway through we switch, and so
halfway through the 4-hour open mic they host there every night, right?
Yeah.
Now, were you hosting that mic in real life before the pandemic?
Yeah, before pandemic, yeah. I hosted every Friday.
Yeah. Oh, and then they moved you to Saturday when the pandemic hit.
Huh? Yeah.
Gotcha.
And Zoom, they moved me to Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing stand-up?
Stand-up itself is like 3.5, almost 4 years, I think.
Okay.
And then I did improv 10 years prior to that.
You did improv for 10 years?
For 10 years, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So where did you do improv?
Mainly UCB.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but can you imagine? I didn't speak much in the good English, and I still don't speak good English, but my English was so bad.
Was it? I mean, so where did you move from originally? Where are you from originally?
From Japan, from Niigata, it's a northern Japan.
Okay.
And I moved to Texas as an exchange student.
Got it.
And it's called Belton, Texas, tiny Christian town.
Sure. So you fit right in Belton.
Yeah, they loved us.
So did you come over with a group of exchange students, or was it just you?
Yeah, it's all a group of us, and almost like 60 of us, I think.
Oh wow! So it was a pretty big group.
Big group, yeah. So basically, and then we were there during the summer vacation, so we didn't have many American students there. So we were what are we doing here? With 3 months.
So were you taking classes over summer? Is that?
It's
or you just arrived at during the summer.
It's during this. It's a exchange student program. So I went to community college in Japan, and then the part of the program we go to America for 3 months, and to our sister school, which is in Texas, and then we studied there, and then I came back, and then to Japan, and I came back to America 6 months later.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you came back 6 months later, was it as an exchange, like a permanent exchange student, or?
Yeah, permanent exchange student, and I went to Reno, Nevada, University of Nevada, Reno, Nevada. Yeah.
Right. And what was that experience like? Did you? Because Texas and Reno, Belton, Texas, and Reno, Nevada, seem like very different places, but maybe they're not.
Very different. Reno was much better.
Oh really? Wow.
Yes.
Reno
really
was better. About Belton.
Yeah. Belton, Texas was quite It's yes, very, 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 very. They're sweet people, but also stab in the back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Christians are best at that. We have a few skills, and one is being nice to your face.
Oh, it's very nice. But I thought it was genuine. I know. I got fooled, and then later and they
That's
came back.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but was your plan always to come to the States or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason was I wanted to get out of Japan. That was my main
Oh, okay.
main thing.
Why? Why did you want to get out of, I mean, I guess
You
other
know,
than this, like, just everybody kind of wants to spread their wings when,
hmm
as they're growing up. But was there a different reason why you wanted out of Japan?
I think it's also Japan. As growing up as a girl was really
Mm.
tough for me because I was too opinionated and I was a rebel. I was always like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because the elders and men they tell me like if they say okay this is black and
Yeah.
I have to say yes this is black.
Uh,
I can't say no this is blue like blue, you know.
oh,
I can't
interesting.
yeah some that type of yeah, I got in trouble a lot, and also like men, our elders always tell me what to do. Oh, you
Uh-huh.
shouldn't say that. You shouldn't, don't say that because you're a girl. Don't do that because we're a girl.
Ah,
And I got so pissed every time.
sure. So now, is that, I mean, is that pretty cultural?
Yeah,
Or is it like, what kind of town or city are you from in Japan? Is it smaller, bigger? Are there
small.
any small towns in Japan? Are they all just big?
Yeah, yeah. No, no, no.
Yeah,
I grew up in the middle of the rice farm. It's like a
gotcha.
rice farm, and in the little tiny like residential area, this tiny town. Now it's nothing like when I grew up, but that's my city and town hometown is like
Have they gotten big?
got big.
Yeah.
But when I grew up, I was like a wild little animal
I find
running.
that
Yeah,
shocking. That's so difficult to believe. Interesting.
yeah.
So, I mean, you growing up, there's kind of a stereotype, at least in America,
hmm
that, rural towns, these kind of farming communities are a bit more traditionally minded, to put it
hmm
nicely. Some would say closed minded or even
Um, be-
misogynistic, more patriarchal
super.
focused. Whereas the cities are more progressive, more liberal. Is it a similar issue culturally in Japan or no?
Pretty much, yeah,
Okay.
same. But my the city, the hometown I was living was nobody was a farmer, and they just wanted to have a house, houses. So
Yeah.
most of them, my dad was a businessman, and my mom worked like little part-time jobs, but it's so and also my dad moved a lot when he was young,
Mm-hmm.
and so he was not like very conservative farm people. He
Got it.
was more like when I was like came home like mad and crying, and my teacher said, I can't do that because I'm a girl, and then my dad was like, it's okay,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
worry about it, just he was very modern, very
Hmm.
supportive about women speaking up. So I
Yeah.
was really lucky comes to
Yeah.
that part.
So it was really just
Yeah,
everyone else you had to deal with
yeah,
in your town.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So okay, so you're dying to get out of Japan, your small
hmm
town in Japan. You make it to big city,
yeah.
Reno, Nevada. That's great. And then, I mean, have you ever been back to Japan or have you just stayed in the States since then?
I've been first 7 years I didn't go back to Japan,
Okay.
I think, and then after that I go back. Now I go back every like, couple years.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, my
And
parents are
all
getting
of your
older.
family is still in
Yeah,
Japan then, I take
yeah,
it. Are you
yeah.
an only child? I forget. I thought you had a sister, but maybe
I
not.
had a sister, yeah,
Okay.
and now I'm only child.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Crazy. So your parents are still in Japan and you see them
hmm
every few years. So what got you started in comedy? How did you go from Reno, Nevada to LA comedian? What did
so
you study? Wait, what did you study in college?
okay. So first of all, okay, wait. I say I chose America because I was thinking if I get out of Japan,
Yeah,
where I'm gonna go, and I chose America because
because it's the
I
best, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, because
No, why? Why'd you pick the States?
I really liked the River Phoenix. He
The
was
who?
River Phoenix,
Oh, okay.
the yeah, movie star back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was already dead. But
I was gonna say, okay. All right. So you
yeah,
picked him. Okay. Good.
but I was hoping that I can find someone like him. So I moved to America,
Sure.
and
In
then
Reno, Nevada.
end up in Reno, Nevada.
Yeah.
And then I found out that I wanted to help out my parents paying tuition, but I couldn't work.
Yeah.
International students are not allowed to work.
Right. Right.
So I found out the hotel management major. I
Hmm.
can get working permit because working 1,000 hours as a experience. Working. I have to work 1,000 hours
Yeah.
and working experience to graduate.
Hmm.
So that was the only major that I can work outside campus and make regular pay.
Right.
So I transferred to UNLV
Okay.
in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
and then that was a Sin City school back then.
Yeah.
I don't know now, but I've never seen so many girls wear such a skimpy clothes in campus. I was like,
That's
wow.
great. I think that's just, yeah, as you say, Sin City. That's
Sin
Vegas,
City,
baby.
yeah,
No, I don't know. I think that's sort of a college trend.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I did my undergrad at Brigham Young University, which is a religious school, so they actually
Uh-huh.
have a dress code that students had to
Mm.
follow. So it wasn't as bad at BYU where
Mm-hmm.
I went. My wife and I then did graduate school at UNC Chapel Hill,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
You'd be walking in campus, and I'd be like, "Is she wearing pants, or is it
Yeah.
just a shirt? I don't know. Like, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Or that's why I don't know. I was thinking after the school she's going to work, stripping
Right.
or something. I was
Right. I
like,
mean, Las Vegas, maybe so. Maybe
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
take hotel management
I
because you want to
mentioned
work for the Trump Tower hotels
yes,
eventually,
that
or
was my
Marriott, maybe
yeah.
Marriott. I don't know. Uh,
Actually,
just so you could
I
get a job, huh?
yeah, I just get a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I end up working at Caesar's Palace.
oh, all right.
Yeah.
Not bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of hotels in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's got to be a pretty big market out there. That's great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then, I mean, was it the performance bug of
Mm-hmm.
Vegas that got you to be like, ah, I think I could do stand up? Did you see some terrible acts go through Caesar's Palace and you're like, I could do that?
No, actually, no, I didn't do stand up in Vegas. The guy
Or
I was
improv, I guess. Improv is
improv,
where you
no,
started.
nothing. I didn't started it improv and stand up in LA. I didn't do anything. I did acting in Vegas.
Oh,
I started
oh,
acting. Actually, but the guy who I was dating in Vegas, he was doing stand up. And
oh, okay.
I saw him bombing day night after night.
No kidding.
I was like, why he wants to do
Why are
that?
you
I
doing that?
didn't know I am
Yeah,
doing that. And
interesting.
I wasn't wasn't dream of doing stand up.
Yeah,
Like he was going to like shithole,
sure.
place and doing open mics, and then like yeah, and then I was doing acting because I started acting because I was really shy talking to American people
Yeah.
because I was so afraid to speak
Well,
in English.
right. Learning a new
So,
language is so
yeah.
difficult. Yeah.
So someone told me like if you don't know what to say, then why don't you take acting class? You don't need to think about what you're gonna say.
Oh,
The
because they'll give you
line,
a
yeah,
script. Oh,
script
very interesting.
line is
Okay.
right there. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah. Sure.
yeah. And then I took it, and it was fun, and but it was a lot harder than I thought. But I really
Yeah.
loved that, being vulnerable and then express emotion.
Yeah.
So then my acting teacher told me like if you want to be in an entertainment business, uh, there's not much going on in Vegas. You have to be a magician or a stripper.
Right.
And I thought neither.
So you became a magician, huh?
I'm not flexible at all. I just can't get in the box.
Oh,
No
I see.
way.
That's a magician's assistant. That's
The assistant, yeah.
right. You don't have to do that. You be the man, be the woman on stage with the,
I don't think
casting
I
the
can.
spells.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
So he's
that's
like, hey,
why,
you need to get out to LA
yeah.
or arguably New York, but LA is geographically much closer.
Yeah,
Okay.
for
So that's what
acting.
brought you to LA was acting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So then how did you make the move from acting to improv? Was it just kind of a credit
Acting,
you needed with acting?
yeah. Because I was, I'm weird, and every time I don't,
Sure.
when I was
Totally
doing,
bizarre. Yeah.
yeah, when doing acting class or the exercises, teacher said, "You're funny, naturally funny. You don't need to try to be funny. Just who you
Sure.
are is funny." But he said, like, I should do comedy. So okay,
Yeah.
and then
Interesting.
but if people do comedy, they had back then had a lot of improv training,
Mm-hmm.
to be on the sitcom or whatever,
Sure.
So that's the reason I started improv. But my
Gotcha.
English was not good enough to do improv. Half the
I
time I
mean,
had no idea what's going on in the scene.
right. Honestly, that sounds like a nightmare. I know French fairly well, but
Hmm.
I would never dream of doing French, like improv in
In
French,
French,
let alone
yeah.
like even stand up. Stand up in French seems terrifying.
Wow, I didn't
So
know you speak French.
I do. Yeah, I do. I do speak some
Wow.
French. Yes. Yes. But
Wow.
I would never do what you're doing, go to a foreign like I would never move to France to be like, "Hey, I'm going to pursue my dream and try to find River Phoenix in
Yeah.
Paris." Or I guess for me,
Yeah.
what? Gérard Depardieu. That's who I should find. Gerard. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Yeah.
then you get into improv. And what makes you move from improv to
Mhm.
stand up? Because I mean, you talk
Um,
about being shy in Japan
mhm.
and you're making, I mean, I imagine if I met you in Japan, you'd be a totally different person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 Interesting. Okay, so what brought you
Yeah.
to stand up? What brought you to the light that is stand up comedy?
Stand up as a I was so I feel like a stand up was I had a bunch of teammates, right? So when we
Oh,
go
for
down
improv. Yeah.
improv, we
Yeah.
go down together. When
Right.
we bomb together. So
Yeah, you
I
do.
wasn't,
Yeah, you do.
stand up. To me, like, stand up was so scary because if you bomb by yourself.
Right. Right. I had this
So
exact same thought. I moved from
right,
improv to stand up as well. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So where did you study improv? What did you do?
I did improv all in Provo, Utah. So I
Oh,
did it with a
cool.
small troupe at Comedy Sports. There's a Comedy Sports and
Comedy
Comedy
sports.
Works out here in LA.
Cool.
I never did anything out here in LA, but yeah. Anyhow, so
Oh,
this
I
is your
see.
story, This
Oh,
is your
okay,
story. So you're
sorry.
terrified of bombing alone on
Yeah,
stage.
yeah,
Totally fair. I
Tor
completely sympathize.
yeah. And then 10 years later, I was like, it's a improv. It's a really hard work because I'm always like coordinating group and then booking teacher or coach,
Oh,
and then people put together people. And I
yeah,
had at one point I had improv practice 6 days a week,
yeah,
and I had six or seven teams, and that I was and I was in.
right,
I managed like maybe two teams, and then I was in somebody else's team other
right,
nights, and it's
right.
like,
Were you doing classes with UCB also
yeah,
during the
I was
day?
doing class,
So
and
you
when
basically
I'm
lived at UCB at their theater.
yeah, I thanks to UCB, they gave me like 6 classes scholarship.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah,
that's great. Because
yeah,
those can be pricey.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's awesome.
expensive.
Right.
So and I did a internship. So they gave me another, how many classes? 4 or 6 classes.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so they were, yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
They
that's
were,
awesome.
yeah.
All right.
So
So,
yeah.
but I mean, what drove you to stand? So you're scared of
So
bombing on stage. How'd you get over that?
And then
Just like
and
whatever. After 10
I'm
years, I'm
10
done. I'm done with
years. Yeah,
this.
I feel like I'm comfortable on stage. I'm okay. And
Hmm.
now and I'm just start, don't want to do any scheduling with other people. When we have a show, hey, who is available on Saturday night? Who is
Right.
available? Blah, blah, blah. And then some people like, oh, I can't do this, I can do that, and then, oh, I don't have money and I can come to the practice, and then
Yeah.
so it'll mess up all everybody else's money too, because
Sure.
we have to pay like $60 or $80 to our to the coach every 2 hours. So
Jeez.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. So stand up, I can just book myself. I
Right.
can
Yeah. Yeah. You're
schedule
there.
by
It's done.
myself.
You're
Yeah,
having the show.
yeah. But I
Wow.
miss improv a lot too, because there's a team, the friends and teams.
Right.
You
Right. I
you
mean, the
can.
the thing that I remember and in talking to some people is, generally speaking, improv people are a bit more upbeat, a bit
Uh-huh.
happier.
How do you? I guess.
Stand-up people are a bit more cynical, a little jaded,
Yes,
much more depressed,
yes. So
at
much.
least more vocally so.
Yeah, and lonely.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
lonely.
But I also get the sense improv are sort of the Catholics of the comedy world. They're nice to your face,
Hmm.
but there might be some backstabbing that's going on
Oh
behind the
yeah.
scenes. Did you experience any of that or no?
I don't know. Like LA, I feel like in LA improv, if you are not nice, you can't survive.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, if
That's kind
you
of good to know.
can,
Yeah,
yeah, because if you are not nice person, eventually nobody wants to work with you.
sure.
You don't
Yeah.
want, yeah, no one wants to put you in a team or
Right. Right.
yeah,
But that's different than
and
kind of being backstabby. But I guess maybe not. Because I guess
mm,
the word would get around. Although I don't know.
yeah,
How do you backstab people in improv? I don't know.
like what we have to kick out few people from team,
Oh, I guess
and
that would be true, right? As a
yeah,
new class kind
right,
of comes up, it's sort of like, well, we
yeah.
want better talent or different talent.
Mm.
Is
Or
Chad really? Yeah.
there's always one crazy one in a
Just
team.
one? Just one?
uh,
Yeah.
I was two.
Yeah. Right. Oh my God.
So I hate, kick people out of the team, but
Yeah.
sometimes team has to
Yeah.
take out the,
Right.
two.
Right. I mean, if you want to get better as a group,
Yeah,
sometimes it takes kind of sloughing off the dead weight. Yeah.
yeah,
Man, but that would be a bad a very negative aspect of the
yeah,
improv world.
yeah.
That would be tough.
Hmm.
I never really did improv in LA because it seemed like a full-time job in LA. I
Yes,
mean, you're
it
doing classes
was.
during the day and then you're practicing auditioning at night, you're performing at night. And like, we moved to LA, I already had two kids. We knew another one was coming. And so I was like,
Oh,
I can't just like I don't have time. I can't
yeah,
go, to downtown LA at 3 in the afternoon. It's when I need to be picking up my kids from school. So
yeah.
I was just like, it's not going to happen. So I'll do stand up. I'll do stand up and just commit to stand up.
I think that was a good move, though. They were good. Yeah,
I
you.
think so. I was also
Yeah.
worried about finding a good group. The group that I
Mhm.
that I was with in Utah was like, I felt like I gelled with them and it worked out.
Mhm.
I think they probably looked at me like, hey, dead weight, because I really could not like. A big part of improv is kind of being a renaissance man, and I could not sing and rhyme on stage to
Me
save
too.
my
I can't.
life.
I can't
Oh
do
my
it.
gosh.
Yeah.
So difficult. So I was like, I
Yeah.
don't think I'm going to find another group that's going to put up with me in that way here. So I'm just going to do stand up. I'm just going to do stand up. So
That's
after a
good.
decade, you do stand up. I want to know, what do you love about stand up,
Uh-huh.
and maybe a good and bad experience when you so far in your stand up career.
Uh, for stand-up career, in
Yeah.
good
So
and
from
bad.
your so what drew you to, like, why did you do stand up other than just being sick, or was
Uh-huh.
it just I'm sick of scheduling, I want to stay in comedy, I'm sick
Mhm.
of flaking out with these other people on my team, I just want to
Mhm.
be independent? Was that really
Independent.
what
That
pushed you
was,
to stand up?
yeah, and
Got it.
also I feel like UCB. I appreciate the classes and all that stuff, but you know I don't see little bit. what's it called, the artistic director at the time,
Yeah.
uh I was and I she wasn't managing school that well. I
Mm.
didn't I didn't agree with her like sense of humor, and then
Sure.
so
Yeah. That's a big deal, though.
so I was like, ah. Then I left UCB and start doing stand up too. And also like I also start to write my own material.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is stand up is perfect because I want to say my opinion and in my
Right.
uh
Right.
jokes.
Yeah, that's what
So
stand-up is. That's all stand-up is. Your own
yeah,
material.
material, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha. All right. So where
yeah,
did you do your first open mic?
very first open mic. Oh man, I don't even remember where I did the first. Must be Second City maybe.
Oh, sure, because they have what? They used to do one. Was it every Wednesday they would do one?
Yeah, yeah,
You'd
yeah.
have to sign up in advance.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because I was so afraid to bomb a regular open mic, so I took a class first,
Got it.
learn
Okay. And
how
you
to
did a
write
class at
jokes.
Second City?
Second City, yeah. The
Okay.
UCB doesn't have the stand-up
Right.
classes,
Right.
so I went to Second City, and I cheated on to Second
Right.
City,
Cheated on a
and then
UCB.
UCB, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
to,
Went to
and
Second
then
City. Yeah.
yeah, and then my
Got it.
first teacher was wonderful, and he was great, and then yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's
so
crazy.
yeah.
So I did their open mic once with a friend of mine at
Mm-hmm.
Second City, but this had been after doing open mics at, some dive bars and just the usual open mic haunts in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so after about a year and a half of that, went and did an open mic at Second City. It
Mm-hmm.
was night and day different in how the audience, the other performers
Uh-huh.
reacted on to me on stage or to anyone on stage. It was the most supportive group that I had sat
Yeah,
in and with. I could
yeah,
not believe, and it was because it was all improv guys and
yeah,
and
yeah.
and
That's
women
right.
who
Yes,
were like, yeah, yes,
yes,
and baby, yes, and
yeah.
we're so happy. Yeah, and whereas you go to like even the Flappers bar mic, I mean, everywhere else, everyone's on their phone. They're
Yes.
not looking at you. They're just
Nobody
looking
listening
down.
to, yeah,
And if you say something funny, they might look up,
yeah.
but they're still quiet. Oh my gosh. Okay, so
It's
so was
so
that a good
true.
experience then? Your first open
Yeah,
mic at Second City? Yeah.
yeah. I think that's why I think I didn't. They're supportive, thanks to improv students. They
Yeah. Right.
listen. This
Right. Right.
listening is the main thing. So
Yeah.
also make them, better person. I think improv. So
Yeah, it's a very interesting
yeah,
difference in
yeah.
demeanor. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
they supported me. So I didn't bomb,
Right. Right.
So
So
yeah, that
then
was
then you felt like you had the when you finally went outside of this terribly crippling
mhm.
or I mean this crutch of an improv existence you had been in. When you finally ventured into the real world,
Oh, yes.
where did you do your open mic? Where did you first?
First, I think the biggest bomb that I bombed terribly, the worst was the fourth wall,
Oh, which one? Which fourth wall? Maybe at the time there
Burbank.
was only the Burbank.
Burbank. Always, it's
Yeah,
always Burbank. Oh, Burbank
that's where you
fourth
go every time.
wall. And that's the way I bombed every
Yeah,
time.
sure. Yeah.
I don't know what's the I don't know, that place maybe not good punctuate for me. I don't know.
Maybe so. Okay, so for the listeners and viewers who aren't aware, in the before times, there was a chain of these open mic places. There's been an influx of what we call in the biz in LA slotted mics. So these are mics where you pay $5 and you go up, and it's a group of 10 people, and it's scheduled out by the hour, and you go. And Fourth Wall is one of these that had a few different locations throughout Hollywood. So one was, Burbank. I think that's the first location, kind of the OG of the
Yeah.
Fourth Wall slotted locations. But it also has a crowd that is what I found is every location has its own little crowd. So they had one kind of in hipster-ish kind of Hollywood, a younger crowd. They had one, I guess they had two in Hollywood that would kind of draw some of the same people. And then they had this one in Burbank that drew out some of the saddest middle-aged and elderly men I have ever met in my entire life. Such a great crowd. So fun, these guys. So fun. But like, they would not give you anything. You had to fight to make these people laugh, for sure.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think it was a good training too. I think all the stand-ups, we have to go through bombing.
Yeah, you gotta bomb.
I'm gonna bomb, but it's just, I think that they scarred me so bad that after the first time I bombed so hard, I didn't go back to fourth wall for maybe at least 6 months. 10 months.
No, it is those bombs can be very scarring. And they can shake you. They can shake you a bit. I think it's good. I don't think I learn. If I have a set where I crush, I'm like, great, I don't need to learn anything. But when you bomb, it's like, no, I gotta figure out what happened.
What happened.
I think that is okay. So I want your thought on this, and then I want to talk to you about religion a little bit.
Okay.
So when you bomb as an improviser, is there anything that you can learn from the bomb, or is it just like,
improv,
we were off tonight, guys?
Improv, our team had a little rule about improv. Like when we bombed at the show, after the show, we, teacher can give us notes, but we teammates, we are not allowed to give any notes to each other. And even though no matter how bombed we have, how
if it was all on Steve, if Steve was the one who just tanked the scene, you guys weren't allowed to be like, hey, Steve, you tanked the scene, bud. It was your fault. You came out as a shoe shine boy. What are we supposed to do with a shoe shine boy? So you couldn't do that.
We couldn't do that. We were just, we blamed ourselves, and then we have to apologize to Steve. Steve, I'm sorry, we couldn't save your scene.
Gosh. See, that's why improvisers are so great and terrible all at the same time. That's the huge, okay. Got it.
So, and then after, no matter how bad we did, we have to like high five each other, and we did it. We bombed, but we did it.
Man, there were some scenes I've been in where I felt like the other person would want to miss on purpose the high five to hit me in the face, or I would want to do that to somebody else. Be like, hey man, you didn't need to come out when you came out, okay? You could have waited. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just some people, like when two people are doing scene, and then people in the back, person in the back, one's like anxious to jump into the scene, right? So like come out and then messed up all the scene that we were doing instead of saving. Like,
well, they think, I mean, the danger with improv is they think they are saving it. And if you're not on board with the way they're saving it, it's only going to tank worse. Oof. So what kind of notes, I mean, do you have like a comedy buddy in stand-up that you go to like open mics with, or you're bouncing jokes off of, or they see you bomb and you're like, hey, what happened to me out there? Like, why did that not go well? Do you have anybody like that for stand-up? Or
I have like a writing, all-female writing buddies. So like once like especially now, and we meet up on Zoom once a week, and we just and do our material for 5 minutes, and then the girls give me feedback, constructive feedback. So that's helpful.
Okay. Well, that's good. I feel like that is a huge difference with stand. If it bombs, it's because of you, right? With stand up, it's like, I mean, sometimes I suppose you can have just a crowd that doesn't get you, but finally it's like, we're supposed to make the crowd happy. So if we can't do that, then it's really our fault, it's just my fault.
Because I recently I had a huge breakdown.
Mm,
I was just not feel like I'm not doing well.
yeah.
And so I just, oh my God, I cried
Oh,
and I don't think I can do this anymore.
right.
Yeah. Do you have
Jeez.
that? Do you have like you lose confidence? You seems
Never.
very
Are you
pretty.
kidding me?
I
No,
know
I
you.
do all the time. All
You
the
do?
time. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So there was, let's see. So I did there were two kind of big-ish gigs that I had over the last couple of weeks. One
Uh-huh.
was at a military base where we did a
Mm-hmm.
drive-in style show, and a friend of mine organized the whole thing. Fantastic guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Hey, we're all gonna do 25 minutes. If you want to
Ooh,
stretch it out a little
cool.
bit, then stretch it out a little bit." But this was,
Yeah.
we'd been in Vegas with the World Series of Comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of the first times I'd performed live since the before times. Then
Mm-hmm.
the drive-in show was a couple weeks after Vegas, so I hadn't
Mm-hmm.
really been doing a lot of live, and certainly not to that extent.
Yeah.
Extent, right? Length of time in one go. So I was a little nervous,
Mm-hmm.
and I always hit this moment kind of before a big gig like that where I'm like, is my stuff even funny? Do I even want to do this? Is
Yeah.
this gonna work? Like, what's plus you throw in the drive-in stuff. It's like, how is that gonna feel? Is honking gonna
Mm-hmm.
be, is that really the same? So yeah, I've experienced that kind of stuff, yeah, fairly
Wow.
frequently. But then you get up, you do it. It's like, oh yeah, you might not have a killer set, but
Mm-hmm.
if you get a laugh or two when you're feeling down, it's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay, whew, I think I can keep doing this. I think I can keep doing this. All we need is one. We just need one
One laugh.
laugh. And it might not even be
Got
about our
it.
joke. It might be someone texting their friend, and their friend's like, dude, this guy blows. And they're laughing, and we're like, hey, that was great. I murdered that joke. I murdered that joke. Oh man. No, I
Nice.
think it's pretty, I don't know. I mean, I feel like insecurity is pretty common
Yeah.
for the comedic world, especially for stand-ups. It's a interesting
There's a
dichotomy, I suppose.
yeah, we have to what we go through and
Yeah. Well, and it's like what we do is most people's worst fear, getting up on
Mhm.
stage and just talking for a half
Mhm.
hour or whatever we're doing. And so I think a lot of people think, oh, well, you must be really confident. It's like, well, I guess, but I'm more just vain. I'm
Yeah.
more
Me
just
too.
egotistical. I don't know why. I don't know if confidence is, anyway,
Yeah.
certainly part of it. Certainly part of it. Oh man,
Yeah.
fantastic. Uh that's great. So, okay, now I want to talk to you about religion. So
Mhm.
growing up in Japan, were you fairly religious, or was your family not very religious?
It's weird because my mom is almost like a atheist,
Okay,
and my dad is Buddhist.
got it.
And like I don't know how their marriage is working so well. I don't know. They've been married for so
Sure.
long, and then they're
Yeah.
still like going strong. They're very, I know, they have really very good
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
But my
Well,
mom,
Buddhism doesn't seem like a very exclusionary religion,
mm-mm,
right?
mm,
Buddhism's feel like it's not like some strands of Christianity, whereas like, well, if you're not in our church, then you're not going where we're going, you know?
mm. Yeah, it's
Um,
yeah. If you, they just usually they don't really, you know, my dad didn't really teach me anything about Buddhism
oh no,
or
not at
yeah.
all.
None, he didn't really. He, I know he was meditating, but I
Uh-huh.
never learned how to meditate from my dad.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's doing all the chanting sometimes, but
Yeah.
I didn't really. Yeah, my and then my mom was because he became atheist because her brother, my uncle, got went to wrong, religious group, which was a whole scam thing, and
Oh, so he got caught up
yeah,
in a scam,
scam, yeah.
and
So
she was like, "Well,
he,
then God must not be real."
yeah, and she got so upset because they took all his retirement money and everything.
Jeez. And what kind
So
of religion was this? What was the scam professing to be?
there was I don't know what type of in Buddhism that they were claiming like a new
Oh, but
type
they
of
were claiming to be a Buddhist
Buddhist. Yeah,
sect. Okay,
yeah, and
got it.
then there was a guaranteed your retirement will be fine, just to basically give us
Yeah,
some money so we would take care of you, kind
interesting.
of
Did
thing.
they like? I mean, I just don't understand quite how they would get scammy in Buddhism. Was it like, if you give us this amount of money, we'll make sure you come back as a human being, or like,
I
right? Because
think
Buddhism believes in reincarnation.
yeah.
I just don't understand how they would scam people in Buddhism. Because like in Christianity, there's like, well, you give us money and we will pray to God for you, or
Mm-hmm.
heal you,
Mm-hmm.
or there are lots of kinds of priestcraft like that in
Mm-hmm.
Christianity, but I don't quite understand enough about Buddhism to know how they would scam people in Buddhism.
I think it's like very close to that, same. And if you, because also I think because my uncle was very shy, super shy. So
Mm.
he felt like he found the place that he can be, and people supports him, and it's
Oh,
someone he can trust. And
yeah,
then if you are here with us, you'll be safe. You'll be protected,
yeah,
and so don't worry about your future. Everything's gonna be okay. They'll have the rigid temple, and
yeah.
then
Jeez.
everything was there, and then they guaranteed, and the not God, but like we will basically heal you and help you and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And
Got it.
so, and then one day he went to the church temple, and everything was gone.
No
Nobody was,
way.
yeah, nobody was there.
Wow. So this is like a large scale scam.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So your uncle must have been pretty rich to have been worth it,
No, he
or maybe
just
not. Was it a
he
whole
wasn't.
community they scammed at the same time?
Yeah,
Got it.
a lot of people got scammed, and then he
Got
just
it.
took all the money from his retirement account
Oh my gosh. So it
and
was some
gave it to them.
traveling minstrel show that just showed up to these small towns in Japan and
Yeah,
were like, "Hey, we'll get you to Nirvana
yeah,
quicker if you do these
yeah,
things and if you pay us this." And then they just scram.
yeah,
No way.
and
Jeez.
and
So
so
then
that's
your mom was like, "Well,
yeah,
Buddhism is not real,
yeah.
so
Malay
nothing is."
religion itself is like no,
Got it.
nothing. Yeah,
Got it.
it's to them. And then my dad was like, if it helps you,
Yeah.
and then it's any religion is fine, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
So kind of follow your own path.
yeah.
I do whatever you want.
Yeah,
So then you end up in Belton, Texas.
yeah.
I mean, I imagine, stereotypically Texas is a very Christian state.
Hmm.
So I imagine you got roped into a bunch of Christian revivalist meetings and churches and all of that. What was your I mean, did you end up going to church at all in
Yeah,
Belton, or no?
because of the school was a Christian school,
Oh, it was
and
a
then
religious school.
religious school.
Got it. Oh
Yeah,
man.
and
Okay.
then so it was required to go to Sunday church every
Sure.
week, and then like this guy came to pick us, from church. This driver came to pick us up every
Yeah.
Sunday,
Yeah.
and then took us to in Bible study, because our English was so bad, and I have
Right.
no idea Bible study what's going on half the time.
Right. Right. It's like,
and
yes.
then,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then I was so confused, because there's a donuts, right?
Okay.
And donuts and milk and orange juice.
Right.
And one thing I couldn't understand was milk. I understand,
Yes.
but donuts and orange juice,
Yeah. I think it's an
the
either
combin
or.
yeah, the
Yeah. I agree.
combination, I
Right.
couldn't get it.
Right. I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Milk and donuts, fine.
Yeah,
Then you drink the orange juice after or
yeah.
before, but not with. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
that was like that was my first question.
Exposure. You were like, I don't care what you're teaching. Why is there orange juice
Just
with
and
the milk and donuts?
donuts, yeah.
I think that's a great bit. I think that's what you should write. You should write about that.
Okay.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Yeah, that's
yeah.
true. That's very funny.
Um,
Okay, so but were you ever, like, did you feel ever a connection spiritually to the Bible studies you were going to, or was it like, I just need to learn English and I have to come here for school?
Because for me, the Bible there was studying, and then the way for me it was like almost like a fantasy book.
Sure.
Yeah, and the things they have, what happened was like, I don't know. Is it really people believing these things happened, or
Right.
and it was
Right.
to me like more fantasy, great fantasy story,
Yeah.
and all the miracles and the stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. So that was confusing to me. And
Sure.
then also people who were super nice, and then
Right. Right.
yeah,
Kind of
and
like the scammy Buddhist church, apparently.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like when at what's it called, the ceremony, during the ceremony, right?
Yeah.
Pastor talking, but our English is not good enough to understand what he was saying. So like
Yeah.
one of a few of us like start dozing off, right? Like
Right. Yeah. 'Cause you have no idea what's going on.
yeah.
Right.
So then church people was okay, bye, see you next week. Anyway, got dropped off, and then immediately they complain about us, not
The
like
other members of the congregation.
yeah, they
Ah,
were telling school that we were not really focusing on you know the
gotcha. Wait, how did you
so
even know? How did you hear? Did you go back to Bible study and the teacher was like, you guys need to step it up? Or was the school, maybe the school was like, you guys need to step it up. I don't know what you're doing, but it's not
no,
enough.
yeah, they told that there's a counselor there helping us,
Right.
bunch of
Right.
us, exchange students.
Yeah.
So the claim go to counselor, and the
Got it.
counselor was telling us, hey, you
Yeah.
guys,
Hey,
don't fall asleep, don't take a
they
nap.
hate you.
Yeah,
You guys need to be better.
better.
Gotcha. Oh my gosh. That's so awful. That's
And
great.
we were
That's
like
great.
19, 20 years old, we
Yeah.
were like, yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
And you have no idea what's going on. I mean, they don't appreciate the fact this is a second language.
yeah.
Why don't they go to a Buddhist meeting in Japanese? See how they feel. They might fall
Yeah.
asleep as well. Oh my goodness. All right.
Yeah.
So then you go back to Japan, then you come back to Reno, Nevada. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, where do you stand spiritually now? Do you feel any connection to anything
Yes,
outside or no?
I'm one of those like I'm spiritual but not religious kind of person. Like I'm
Typical
just
LA.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
so
very,
LA.
it's so LA.
Yeah.
This is how lost I am.
Uh-huh.
I'm learning how to do meditation from white lady.
I love it.
Yeah, so things that I should supposed to
Yeah.
learn in
But
my
why don't you
country.
right, why can't you call your dad up and be like, "Hey, man."
I That's the thing, Japanese dad, they don't really talk, they don't really
Yeah.
communicate with
Sure, sure,
their
sure.
kids.
I gotta say, I don't think, I know that Asian men have a few stereotypes, being sort of
Hmm.
soft-spoken, uh, not communicating is just a guy thing. I don't think that has
Hmm.
anything to do
Mm.
with where your dad's from. I think it's just because he's a dude.
Yeah, he's a dude. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
But I mean, he
Yeah.
might respond to you if you ask him directly.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think
not.
so.
I don't
I
know.
think if I asked, and then yeah, because my parents didn't really teach me anything. My mom didn't teach me how to cook, or
Ah, yeah,
traditional stuff, that how
right.
to make. I I didn't. She didn't tell me, and I didn't ask. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. So right now you're spiritual. Do you follow, like, are you crystals spiritual? Are you horoscope spiritual? When you
I'm
say spiritual, kind of what does that mean? What does that mean for you?
I do meditation. It helps
Hmm.
me a lot, and yes, because I was learning from meditation from
Yeah,
white
from
lady.
some
So of course I
yoga,
have
from
I
Yoga
have
Stacy.
yeah.
Oh, and you've got a crystal. You have a
Crystal.
crystal.
I got
So which
crystal.
crystal is that?
I don't know. I don't
It looks
even know.
plastic to me.
I
Is it
know.
truly a rock?
I have
It's
no idea.
enormous.
I paid $50 for this. So I don't know.
Man, talk about priestcraft and
I know.
scams. I,
I know.
jeez Louise. What is that one supposed to do? Because each crystal is supposed to have a certain, power.
Yeah. How I think I have no idea.
All right. Well, then there you
I was
go.
just told that like if you see going to the store
Yep.
and then look at the stones and then if you feel like
Drawn to
you
one.
drawn to it and then if you
Yeah.
see this is the one and you will know which one to get it. It's like
So it's like dating.
okay,
You went
yeah.
in to date, figure out which stone you want to be with for the rest of your life. Wow.
And I
That's
chose
amazing.
this one. So
I mean, given the fact that you're dating a black man, you chose the whitest stone you possibly could have.
And the dude, he makes fun of me because all I do is a white people's thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, crystals is a white people thing. I mean, to be fair, dating a black guy is also a white thing to do now.
Yeah.
So I think you're good.
Yeah.
I think you're good.
Yeah.
You checked off all the boxes.
Yeah. I think inside I'm a white person.
Right. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That is hilarious. That is great. Okay. So all right, last question, and then we'll get to the segment that
Yes.
I love most because it's
Okay.
all about me.
Yeah.
But last question. Is there an afterlife? Do you believe in an afterlife? Do we all exist after this life, or is this it?
See, I don't know, but
Mhm.
I if I can get to choose,
Yeah.
I wanna choose reincarnation. I think it's
Got it.
fun. It's gonna
Okay.
be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So
D-
in the Buddhist faith, right, you're
mhm.
reincarnated kind of based on how well you lived your previous life.
Mhm.
Is that the kind of reincarnation you would want, where you could come back as a tree or a dog or, you know, or is it like only people? I only want to come back as a different person.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't know, but I wanna come back as a human. I
Sure.
hope.
Right. I mean, it might be cool to be
Cool.
an eagle or something
Yeah, and
flying around. I don't know.
but I don't think I want to be. I want to meet my because we were saying that your next life you will meet same people.
Oh,
So
interesting.
your dad might be next life. Your dad might be your brother. Your
Oh,
mom
okay.
might
So
be
you
your
always come back as people in the
people.
Buddhist faith.
Yeah. So
You
like
never
you
like come back as a tree or something.
um I don't know. It's a
I don't know either.
animal or but we're saying that we will meet again as a
Got it.
different yeah. So it doesn't mean that it's gonna be a same relationship.
Got it. Oh, okay.
And
But
but
you'll
we
be
will meet
surrounded by.
surrounded
Oh,
by same
interesting.
people. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I want to meet my sister again, but
Yeah.
I don't know yeah, I don't want to come back as a dog or,
Sure. Sure. As a person, as a good
as a
person.
person. Yeah.
Right. Maybe
But
as a
I
white woman.
don't
I don't know.
I don't maybe.
Who knows? Who
Who
knows? Who
knows?
cares?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, oh, that's great. I love it. Beautiful. All right. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. What's the deal with Mormons with Ai Yoshihara? What questions do you have for me?
I'm so excited. So like
Good, good.
okay. When I was in Japan, I saw this documentary about Mormon people, right?
Oh, sure.
Yes, and then this guy was living in a ranch and he had 29 wives.
Right.
And he didn't work. And
Yeah,
his wives of course has to work, right? Because
sure.
they have so many kids
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So like and I felt like they were like lions, you know,
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. With the lionesses going
king,
out and
yeah,
hunting.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
hunting
yeah. I used to do a
wives.
joke like this.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Is that I was like is like is this still happening in real days? No.
No, 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 no. So,
Oh.
so my faith stopped practicing polygamy as kind of a mainstream thing in the late
Uh-huh.
1800s.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, it was put down. A lot of people ended up moving to Mexico. There were quite a
Uh-huh.
few Mormons from Utah who were still practicing polygamy that were actually sent to Mexico by the church, being like, "Hey, we still need, to populate the world with Mormon kids.
Uh-huh.
So with members of our church, so it's illegal now in the United States to practice polygamy. Why don't you go to Mexico and continue
Oh.
doing it in Mexico?" So
Wow.
yeah, there was a joke. I don't know if you watched Arrested Development or not.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Anyway, there's a joke in there
Oh.
about Mexican Mormons who were polygamists. It's true. There were for sure polygamous colonies in Mexico. Yeah.
Wow.
But no,
Because
it stopped as a mainstream practice in the late 1800s in the United States.
so no more. Nobody can have that many.
No one in the mainstream faith of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can practice polygamy without being excommunicated. That is kicked out of the faith. So there are
Really?
communities in central Utah
Uh-huh.
that are not members of our faith. I think they call themselves Mormons, or they call themselves kind of members of the Community of Christ or Church of Christ or something, that do still practice polygamy, but they're not official members of my faith.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Right. So it is a
Wow,
practice
okay.
that is not condoned because it's illegal. I will say the caveat here is that the church has never come out to say polygamy itself is an evil practice that will never be done again. They've only said, well, we're not practicing polygamy because it is illegal and societal, it's not really acceptable with society. There's not a huge movement within my faith to bring polygamy back. But that being said, it's not like it's something that we do not practice currently. It is illegal. Society doesn't really look on it very favorably. And it's really not necessary any longer.
Yeah.
As far as
I just read about it a little bit, and it is back then women were outnumbered men.
right.
A lot more women at that time, so they want women to experience being married.
Right.
So
yeah, there are a few different reasons that that have been hypothesized or given out as reasons that polygamy was instituted in the early 1800s with my faith. One was, there were just a lot of men died because of the harsh living environment, and we were also hunted a little bit in Missouri when my church was in Missouri. And so men ended up getting in conflicts and dying. They were, and there were also men who, were kind of just sent out on missions and stuff that either were, that weren't married at the time. And anyway, it was just, there was an influx of some, so there was a number disparity of men to women. That's part of the issue, I think. The other issue, or another part of the issue, is early saints, early members of the church had a certain understanding about how you get into heaven, which was, in order to make it to our highest level of heaven, what we call exaltation, or the celestial kingdom, you needed to be married. And so there was a practice to marry people in this life just to make sure that they were covered for the next life. And that understanding has evolved, but that was another big reason. And then the final reason was, just more kids. We needed more members of our faith to spread the gospel. So it kind of, it all, I guess, kind of fit together.
Interesting.
Yeah. And even at the time, polygamy was a calling, essentially. People were not just told, go out and find as many wives as you can. It was, we're calling you as a couple, the Jones, we're calling you Mr. and Mrs. Jones, brother and sister Jones, to be part of this polygamist practice that we are instituting as a faith. So if you're both okay with that, then we're going to do, that's what we'd like you to do. We'd like Brother Jones to take another wife. That's a very short, even though it doesn't sound short, that's a simplified, we could talk about polygamy for forever.
Wow.
I mean, it's still an element of our culture, not that we practice it at all, but it was a part of our history. And I joke with my wife about it all the time, and she's like, well, I'm gonna kill you. And no, that's never gonna happen in our house. So
well, another question was like, if if a man can have another wife and a man can have another husband, it doesn't work that way.
It does not work that way. Right. And I mean, this is one kind of point that is still very much a part of the church, which is in our temples, we perform marriages and religious ordinance that we call a sealing. So we marry men and women together and we seal them together, which is to say that they will be married or together forever. Okay. Even after this life. So you can, even now, a man, marries a woman, gets sealed in the temple, and then the wife dies. Okay. And he wants to get remarried. So he gets remarried to a woman who has never been married before. And they get married, and he can actually take her through the temple and say, I'm married, we're going to get married and we're going to get sealed. And that means he's going to be together with maybe 2 women, that sort of going to be sorted out in the next life, but he can be sealed to more than one woman. A woman who has a husband who dies and gets remarried, she cannot get sealed to another man without breaking, having the, essentially going through another ordinance or formality where her original sealing is broken.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's the part, right. Women always get like,
Well, I mean, if it's like, I believe it's real that they'll be together forever. So if she married a guy that she really loved and he dies before she does, and is young enough where she still wants to marry somebody else because she doesn't want to spend 40 years alone. I mean, either way, she's ending up forever with a guy that she really loved.
Yeah.
And I assume it'll kind of all be sorted out in the end if she ends up, well, I really love my second husband, even though I couldn't be sealed to him. I think that's going to be sorted out in the end. But for whatever reason, it's still a little bit of a sticky point in this life. Yeah.
So you guys on, like, divorce is not allowed?
I wouldn't say it's not allowed. I mean, it's certainly discouraged within my faith, but it's allowed, and it's gotten to the point, I think, now where the divorce rates in the church and out of the church are identical.
Oh, really?
I think it's just as often now. Yeah. I mean, I suppose there's a little bit of a social stigma for couples that get divorced, but I don't think it's quite as bad now as it was even when I was growing up, as far as like, oh, there's something wrong with the Petersons or whatever, it's, I think people understand now that, sometimes you get married too young, or, you marry the wrong person, it's, you marry someone that's abusive or that's manipulative, or, and then what do you do? I mean, you shouldn't force someone to be together with someone that's treating them poorly, or if they're just not happy, mistakes happen. So, it's not encouraged to get a divorce. Couples are encouraged to seek therapy, help, talk about it, do as much as you can to keep the spark alive. But finally, divorce is allowed, not desired, I don't think, but it's allowed. Yeah.
So speaking of a sealing, like, how old were you when you got married?
I was 24.
24. Wow.
Yeah.
So, and then you guys are both 24, and then
I was 24. My wife was 22.
22? She was she just got out of like school, or
we were both in our last year of college at BYU. Yeah.
Wow. But you knew she's the one, and then,
I mean, we thought so. So far, so good.
Yeah. So you seems like you guys are doing really well.
I hope so. Every day, it's day by day. I think we're doing pretty well. I mean, every relationship is tough, and I mean, you were married before, right?
Yeah, I gave up after 4 years. So I'm a quitter. So
I don't know if I'd say give up after 4 years. It sounds like you gave it a good college try, quite literally. Most college is 4 years. So I think you did it. I
did it. Yeah. Yeah. But
so far, so good for us.
Yeah, that's great.
Every relationship is tough. And you could date someone, I don't know, I guess dating in my faith, is a little bit different because there's no option to like live together for a while before getting married. You know,
Oh.
you're not having sex before you get married. So there are a lot of things that you kind of discover about the other person as you actually live together.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Wow.
but you know, it's always work, you know, to stay in love. It takes work, takes effort.
Yeah. It's
So
like
I think
after a while, the love is like is a work.
yeah, I mean, I
You
think
have
love is
to kill
always
it
work,
with work. Yeah.
right? I mean, I think you can be kind of, I don't know if you saw Disney's Bambi. Did you ever see Bambi,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
cartoon? So
Yeah.
there's the word Twitter pated.
I
You know,
don't
you can
remember.
be infatuated with someone, you can kind of be attracted to someone, and that's not
Uh-huh.
work. That just happens, I think,
Yeah.
naturally. But to really love somebody, that's work. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
always work. Yeah.
Yeah. It's work.
I think
Yeah.
it all, you know, it really takes effort to make someone else happy and or you know, to try to
Yeah.
help others be happy. That takes work.
But I feel like I can see you, being trying to be a good husband and then trying to be good to your wife. And then
Yeah.
I can see, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. It's my good
Yeah.
Christian facade of
Yeah.
just
Oh.
niceness on the outside, you know. I try. I mean, you know,
Oops.
we all
Oh,
make efforts, right?
I got fooled again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know. Are you watching true crime documentaries? These are all
Some.
good Christian people that are hacking each other up out there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she and I try, and we've been I feel super fortunate
Hmm.
to have found her and feel like it's been working. So,
Yeah. And I think it's
yeah.
great that you're decided to support her career and then to staying dad. I think that's a
Right. I mean, that's a huge
really,
sacrifice on my
yeah.
part. So tough. So tough to stay home with the kids and then do stand up and um
But
yeah.
it works out. Like what you want to do is
Yeah.
require,
Yeah. I mean, you know,
free
truth
nanny.
is for any stay-at-home parents that are listening, watching, yeah, it's work. It is work. That is it's tough to be a stay-at-home parent.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you know, some people I think harbored this thought. I certainly thought, "Oh, I'm going to have more time during the pandemic." You know? No. I have less time now. I have less time now, and it
Wow.
is so frustrating. Um yeah, it's you know, it's yeah, every relationship is work, family is work, and that's why it's not always fun to be around family. You
I
know? Because it's work. It's work to be with these people. But
feel like,
but you know, I think in the end it's all worth it, right?
yeah.
They're always I feel like the good moments vastly outweigh the bad, even though the bad sometimes feel all consuming, you know?
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I feel
anyhow,
like, yeah, I feel like I think we talked about this before, and like women with mom friends, they always like sometimes get together and then, vent,
right,
drinking, and then how hard it is being a mom and a stay
right,
home mom.
right. Not
But
so much
men,
drinking in my faith, but
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
the
that's right, that's right.
same.
Same
They usually eat cookies or brownies or something.
brownies, the
Yeah,
tea, or but
right.
men, you guys don't really vent, right?
I
Like,
mean, yeah, you know, that's true. Yeah, men typically don't really talk about their feelings. If there are, I think my wife, so she's a career woman. She will run into other career women who
mhm.
also end up having a stay-at-home husband. You know,
Oh,
and so early in our arrangement, my wife would come home and be like, "Oh my gosh, I just talked to I don't know, you know, Shirley. I just talked to Shirley, and her husband's a stay-at-home dad too. You guys
uh-huh.
should connect." And I kept telling her, like, I'm not. You can give me his contact. I'm not going to call him. I don't know Jason. You know, I don't know who that is. I'm not just going to call him out of the blue. I'm not going to form a group. We're not going to do that. I'm sure he's fine, and I'm fine. I'm fine.
Well, trying to like hook you guys up, and then as
Right.
a stay home
There
dad.
was a lot of that. I mean, not a lot, but there was some of that early on, and I was just like, I don't.
Wow.
So yeah, men don't really bond, I don't think, over those kinds of arrangements. But
Yeah.
I've certainly, I mean, comedy, you know, stand up for me is a huge outlet. And I have, stand-up friends that I'll text or talk to on the phone. My wife is like, "Oh my gosh, you're dating this comic friend of yours. You guys are basically dating. He calls you all the time. You're calling him." Like, geez, Louise. So I found a good community and a good outlet doing stand-up.
Mm.
But not much with the other stay-at-home dads. We're not really getting together. Yeah, there's not much we're gonna commiserate about, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay, as long as you have somewhere, you
Right,
can.
right.
Yeah.
I have an outlet. I have an
Okay, good,
outlet,
good, good,
which
good.
is good. This is podcasting, stand up.
That,
It's all part of it.
that's
Yeah, it's all
good.
part of it. I think
Yeah.
that's what's been so difficult about the pandemic for a lot of stay-at-home parents is that, you know, there was always at least one time during the week when you could go out and you were going to
Mm-hmm.
do brunch or you were going to do dinner
Yeah.
or you were going to do a ladies' night or a guys' night or whatever, right? But you were going to get out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And that was stand up for me. Was like late nights, I'm out doing
Mm-hmm.
stuff and then I'm home with the family during the day. And you can't go out now. You can't go
Yeah.
out anymore.
Yeah.
And so I think, for people who were working, they have relationships.
Yes,
They're doing stuff
outside.
on Zoom. They're
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff, out of the office, but connected with people. For stay-at-home parents, it's like, well, guess what? You got nobody now. You got nobody because
Yeah.
you have no time to do, a book club over Zoom. Like that's not, so I think it's
Yeah.
tough. It's been tough for the
It's tough.
stay-at-home parents, but yeah, I mean, I think, man, our world, we would have imploded had it not been for technology like this.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
mean, can you
know.
imagine? Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh my God, we will be like so many people will commit suicide, and
I
I think
know.
yeah,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think it's
what we pick up a book? Ugh,
yeah.
jeez.
Actually
Actually
read
read? Yeah.
it.
Oh my goodness. Me. Yeah. So,
Oh yeah.
oh man, was that it? Was that all your
No,
questions? You just want to talk about,
I
oh,
have
you
a
got more.
question. I have a question. Okay,
Good.
so
Good.
because I met when I was in school, I met this girl, and she said she converted to Mormon
Mm-hmm.
because so she can get free education.
Oh,
She went to school, university in
yeah.
Utah, and she didn't want to pay for the tuition, so she converted to,
Interesting.
and then she got free. Is that the
I wonder
education
if
is it
that's
free?
an arrangement with her parents. I don't know. I don't know
Huh.
why that would be the case. So, I guess here's the other thing I will say is I was actually talking to one of my comedian friends about this the other day. So my yearly tuition at Brigham
Uh-huh.
Young University was $10,000 when I went
A year.
a year.
Okay, no, it's not bad.
I mean that's great. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
So most
Yeah.
universities are like $60,000 a year.
Yeah.
BYU was 10. So for members of my faith,
Uh-huh.
if you go to a BYU or a BYU Idaho or a BYU Hawaii, you spend a lot less in
Yeah.
education
Oh.
for education. And then you can get kind of scholarships on top of that. So,
Yeah.
I went with a half scholarship and was paying like $2,000,
Oh wow.
$3,000 for the year.
So I heard like in Mormon the religious religion you guys I mean I heard you guys have like 100 billion like stock or
Right,
whatever. They guys have so much
right.
money, and so one
So
of the richest.
I don't know if we're one of the richest. I think Scientology still has a lot of money for
Oh
whatever
really?
reason. I
Hmm.
think the Catholics still have a lot of money in sort of real estate holdings, if nothing else. Um, but yeah, we have 100 billion. There was a story that broke now, I think 3, 4, or 5 months ago
Uh-huh.
of our church's kind of slush fund that
Slash.
has a hundred billion, hundred
Yeah.
billion saved up. It really was a
Yeah.
management fund that, an investment fund that has been
Uh-huh.
managed by a small group within the church headquarters
Mm-hmm.
that has just done very well with the investments
Yeah.
that they've had. And so yeah, they have now a stockpile of
Yeah.
$100 billion,
I was like,
which
wow. It's
is
like
yeah, which is astounding.
so. So do you think that's why you guys So okay, do
No, it's actually
you?
a separate pot of money. So that 100 billion
Oh,
is all from investments that they've made and
ah,
kind of won, right, in the
uh-huh,
investment markets. The money that goes to building and maintaining church buildings, temples, and
uh-huh.
the schools is all out of tithing money. So every member of my faith pays 10% of their income as tithing
Oh,
every
wow.
year. So that tithing money goes to pay for the universities, and so they are heavily subsidized. The universities are heavily subsidized by the tithing money that members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are giving.
Wow. So, oh wow. So even though you don't live in Utah anymore, but you guys still donate, I mean, give 10%.
Yeah, it's part of
Wow.
our faith, right? It's
Uh-huh.
it's actually one of the things that we need to do if we want to go through the temple when the temples
Mm-hmm.
are finally able to open again
Mm-hmm.
after this pandemic. Yeah, it's part of tithing. It's a commandment. Yeah, commandment that we still
Wow.
live by, to give 10%. Hmm.
Wow. Even though like right now you're not working, your wife is the only one working,
Yeah.
but still like
Well,
you do
whatever the household brings in,
uh-huh. The
10%
total the
goes
10%.
to the church. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I have
Yeah.
one more question.
Yeah. Go for it.
So it seems like the way you are, you're very open to in anybody. You're
Sure.
super like open. Like,
Yeah.
but I is it like
Do you mean me personally or my
you
faith?
my person you're personally the way
Sure.
you are.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was wondering like as a religion group as a Mormon, you guys are open for LGBT people.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
yeah.
I think this is we we want everybody to attend. We think
Mm-hmm.
everybody is just a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the making. Okay? If you're not
Mm-hmm.
already one of us, you will be eventually. That's our standpoint on it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, so that being said though, I don't know that everybody would truly be comfortable being a member of my church. Part of the reason, and so we're open to having everybody attend. LGBTQ plus, come on in. Okay. Part of the issue though with that community is that like I have a gay cousin. I've had gay friends who it's tough to be like, hey, you can be a member of our faith, but you cannot have sexual relations with who you love, right? I mean, essentially, like you can't get married to someone
Uh-huh.
of your same gender and
Uh-huh.
be a full standing member of my faith.
Oh,
Those
wow.
those things don't coincide. So we are accepting of the person, but we
Uh-huh.
do still believe that the practice of homosexuality
Uh-huh.
is an incorrect practice.
I see. So they can't get married. They can't get ceremony at your
Well, they
cer-
certainly, like, yeah, where it stands right now,
don't like
we don't have, gay marriages conducted in our
mm.
temples, and they're not being
Oh,
sealed to their same-sex partner. No. Nope.
wow. But they
Right.
can be a member of
Yeah,
the
they can be a
the
member.
member.
I mean, as far as I know, the way it works now, and this has been kind of in flux over the last few years, um, there was recently, within the last 5 years, there was a policy where if you were married as a gay couple, you were I don't know if they were excommunicated or declared apostates or exactly what the difference is there, but yeah, you were not going through the temple as a same-sex couple. You're
Mm,
not, you could attend church, but I don't know that you would be allowed to partake of the sacrament as a same-sex couple. I have no idea about that. My gut would be to say not,
mm-hmm.
because we still consider homosexuality an impure, unholy practice, right?
Mm,
But that's different than saying people who are homosexual
mm-hmm.
and I know I get into sort of arguments ish with friends of mine about this, but it is different than saying, we accept the person, we don't accept the practice. So if you are a homosexual person coming through the doors to our church and you're not practicing, homosexual sex, then you're great. You're great. You're doing all that everybody else is doing, right? You're doing your best. And so that's okay. But if you're going to start, like, I guess the other example is we believe in monogamy and celibacy before marriage. So, same for someone, if you're having heterosexual sex outside of your marriage, you're also not going to be considered a great member of my faith. You're not going to be allowed to take the sacrament if you're being honest about your practices, right? So it's a similar idea to that, in the sense of we believe in sexual purity, and that sex really has to be done within and only within the bonds of marriage.
Oh, wow.
But we do not accept homosexual marriage as a religious marriage. So even though, you're married as a gay couple, my faith doesn't recognize that as then a right to practice homosexual sex and be, full members of my faith.
Oh,
So that's where it gets a little bit sticky.
yeah, a little confusing.
Yeah, a little bit tricky.
Yeah, tricky.
Right. But I mean, I firmly believe that my faith allows and loves all people. We do ask that people change. Everybody needs to change. Everyone needs to improve. We look at it as an improvement, right? You're giving up a certain aspect of yourself that in my gospel is unholy.
So as a besides your religion, as a Seth,
Yeah.
do you think if it's not inside your the religion, if it's outside, do you think it's okay for the same-sex marriage is okay?
Yeah, me personally, I mean, I think look, whatever, I don't know that that the God I believe in looks on homosexuality as this is 100% fine. I don't think my God looks on that way. But does he still love all of us? Yes, he does. I think, even now with some of the transgender stuff and gender, fluidity, I think it's more gender confusion.
Confusion.
I think a lot of that's going to be sort of sorted out, right? I think that'll be all sorted out in the afterlife. Do I think it's okay for people to do that? I mean, am I bothered by it personally that they're doing that? No. Like, I don't, if you want to have gay sex, have gay sex. I don't care. I don't care one way or the other. But if it's a matter of, me saying that's good, I don't know that I would say it's good. But is it bad? I don't know that I would say it's bad either. As long, it's sort of like, I definitely follow this kind of, well, if it's not hurting anybody, I can understand why you would feel like it's acceptable for society. But I think society and religious or spiritual morality, I think those are two different moralities.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in imposing, I served a mission, right? So that meant I went out and knocked on doors and essentially advertised my religion and said, hey, you want to join my faith? Because it's the only way you're making it into heaven. So I did that, but do I believe that it's my responsibility now to like impose it, or was it then? No, I'm not trying to impose my faith or my religious morality on people. But can I have an opinion on it? Yeah, I can have an opinion on it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's fine if we disagree. I don't, that's fine, right? As long as you're not also imposing your spiritual morality on me. I think that's where our society right now is kind of confused and breaking down.
I think that's a great, because of the way you are, like said, you believe your religion, but if you don't impose your belief to others. And then that's like when I was in Texas. And if people are like you, then I think I had more open and trying to study more. But because I that's how I felt was in Texas. Like they were like, oh, if you are not Christian, from right off the bat, if you're not Christian, you're not one of us. We can't love you, basically.
Right. Well, and there is also, I think, an element of like, well, we feel so badly for you that you're not one of us, because you're going to go to hell. Right. And there's not that, I don't feel that same I'll call it fervor when it comes to people who are not of my faith. I feel like, if you're happy, that's great. I think that should be goal number one. Be happy, be nice to people. Goal number one, goal number two. But if you're searching for something to help you be happier, that's where I feel inclined to be like, hey, well, maybe it's your faith. Maybe my faith could help you. It's made me happy. I feel like my faith has helped me to be happy. Maybe it'll help you to be happy. If people are like, no, that will not help me be happy. So great. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
That's cool though. Yeah.
So was that it?
Yep,
was that
that's
it? Did we do it?
Yes, we did it. Thank
Fantastic.
you.
Thank you.
Answered all the questions I would ask.
All right, that's great. Well, you will get your free copy of the Book of Mormon, and
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Not unless if you want it, that's great.
Okay.
If not, I'm not going to send it to you. It's not a requirement. Anyway, anything you want to plug before we close up? This has been such a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much. You can find me on Instagram. My name Ai Yoshihara #3, or my TikTok.
There were two other Ai Yoshiharas?
There are some Ai Yoshiharas.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable.
Or trying to do Ai Yoshihara. No, because I did Ai Yoshihara with the Twitter. So Twitter won't. So Instagram didn't allow me to use same.
Right. Because they have different username databases.
Yeah, but I skipped 1 and 2. I just jumped to 3.
Oh, so you just went with 3.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. It's a religiously symbolic number for me, right? 3 members of the Godhead. Yeah, 3 members of Father, Son, Holy Ghost, right? Holy Spirit. So 3 is a nice religious number. So we get it.
Oh, I thought this is 3 is also comedy,
Yeah, 3. That too. That's fine. Fine. That too. Just to bring it full circle. That's why comedy and religion go so well together.
Yes, exactly.
Because of the number 3, and that's really it.
Yes.
So they can find you on Twitter, Instagram. Are you got a YouTube channel? Are you doing any podcasting of your own?
Not yet, but I want to.
Sure.
Yeah, and you're gonna be my guest.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah.
You let me know.
Yes.
when that's popping. I'd be happy to. I would be honored. I'd be honored. And Ai Yoshihara and I host a Flappers open mic on Zoom every Saturday at 8:30 Pacific. It is open to everyone. If you want it, DM me or I on Instagram. I think is probably the easiest way to do it. We'll send you the link. It's free.
Yeah.
It's free to join the Zoom mic. We love having people there every Saturday at 8:30 Pacific, and we usually run about an hour and a half, maybe. It's a good time.
And join us a little earlier so we can talk and get to know each other too.
Yeah, we open the room at 8 Pacific, 8 p.m. Pacific every Saturday until the after times, I guess. I don't know. They might just keep us on Zoom forever, knowing Flappers. We'll see what happens.
Put us on the Zoom forever.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much
Really
for having
appreciate
me.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Good. All right. You have a good week.
Thanks, you too.